Is fentanyl the deadliest drug currently coming across the border?
Congressman, there are some others, but predominantly it is.
And is fentanyl being manufactured in clandestine labs on the Mexican side of the border?
Yes, Congressman.
And when they are manufacturing these synthetic opioids, where are they obtaining the precursor chemicals from?
Mostly from China, Congressman.
What is this administration doing to hold China accountable for helping the cartels create and distribute fentanyl?
Congressman, I agree with the words of Secretary Blinken, who spoke recently about China policy, which is that we have to work with the PRC to make sure that the criminal elements within the PRC are held to account. And if China is to be the global leader and demonstrate the leadership, that it must actually hold accountable. So one of the things we're doing is I'm working very closely with our ambassador, Nick Burns, in Beijing, to see how we work together. We have very specific asks of the People's Republic of China, and we've provided them the asks both in meetings as well as in writing. That means those asks are that we want you to make sure that there is labeling and you're following the uniform international shipping standards. We want you to make sure your companies know the customer, KYC, know your customer protocols, all the way to the end user, and making sure that some of these dual use chemicals, we're keeping a track and working mutually to do that. Now, I spoke at.
Let me reclaim my time there. We obviously don't feel that that's a firm stance with China. We all know from history, China is not the most truthful country we deal with. They steal our patent, they steal our intellectual property. They're contributing to the fentanyl crisis we have here in America. Now back to the Mexican drug cartels. They smuggle both people and drugs in their operations, correct?
Correct.
Are the cartels using their human smuggling operations to facilitate their drug smuggling operations?
Congressman, we believe sometimes they are and sometimes they're not. So it depends. There's reasons for both.
Well, I can tell you, in the reason you've had so many questions is the Republicans on the Oversight Committee. We've been to the border numerous times, and the drug cartel tell us that, in fact, the drug cartels use human smugglers to get their fentanyl across the border. So my question, sir, is why was the southern border only mentioned twice in the National Drug Control Strategy for 2022?
Congressman, I might point to you that there's an entire part of the responsibility of ONDCP is to provide border strategy. So there's entire accompanying document that focuses just on the border strategy, the Southwest border, the Caribbean border, and the northern border. So there's an entire complement that has the border strategies, the full written complement.
Dr. Gupta, we've been asked this question by many Republicans on the committee, and I'm going to give you one last opportunity to answer the question since I'm the last questioner, and I want to remind you that you are under oath. But do you believe the Biden administration is doing everything it can to control the illicit flow of fentanyl across the southern border?
Congressman, I believe we can do more. And I think we need to do more. And I believe part of that requires making sure that we're holding Mexico and Mexican government accountable with the same level of energy and enthusiasm that we are working on southbound gun trafficking, as well as cash trafficking. We want them to act accordingly and as robust as we are, because we put a lot of resources into Mexico. We could do more in terms of President's budget and making sure Congress helps us with making sure that folks have the technology, the resources, as well as infrastructure. We think we can do more to stop the shipment of precursors from China and make sure the next country in the line does not substitute for that.
I'll close with this. My time's about up. There aren't many areas right now, unfortunately, where there's bipartisan agreement in Congress. There's one agreement that the fentanyl is coming across the southern border, and this administration needs to do more. When you ask for more funding, when we talk to the Border Patrol, they say that this administration continues to do things to tie their hands, like the recent announcement to suspend Title 42. that's only making the illegal border crossings significantly increase. When the border crossing increases, there's more drugs that go across the border. So this administration is going to have to get serious. You can't have, Madam Chair, I'll wrap it up here. You can't have a committee hearing on the National Drug Control Strategy and the federal response without addressing the crisis at the southern border. And that's what we have as a crisis. And this administration's response is substandard, and it's only making a bad situation worse. I yield back.